It doesn't matter what exercise you're doing. It doesn't matter what techniques or hacks or tips that you use to modify any exercise that you're currently doing. If you're not even pushing yourself to the point where your muscle has to force itself to adapt and grow bigger and stronger, you're not gonna be seeing the results that you want. If you're not monitoring your diet, overseeing your macros, your calories in versus calories out, prioritizing the adequate amount of protein that you need for your specific goals, you're not gonna be seeing the results that you want. If you're not even prioritizing your recovery, getting enough rest in between workouts, getting good, adequate quality sleep, it's not just about the quantity, it's about the quality as well, you're not gonna be seeing the results that you want. So anything that I say today, yeah, it may help a few people, but if the other boxes aren't checked off, forget about it. You won't be seeing as much results as you could otherwise. Oh, okay. What's up, everyone? David here. Got a new video for y'all today. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. Now, today's body part of the video, the lats. We're talking about our back. What are going to be 3 exercises that we can use to grow a bigger and wider back. But before we actually get into any of these 3 exercises, I just want to make one thing real clear. It doesn't matter what exercise you do, it doesn't matter what hack or what tip you use to modify any exercise that you're currently doing. If you are not even pushing yourself as hard as you know you can, if you're not even eating enough protein, if you're not even overseeing your macros and your calories intake, regardless of all that, hold up, I'm out of breath. It doesn't matter what exercise you're doing. It doesn't matter what techniques or hacks or tips that you use to modify any exercise that you're currently doing. If you're not even pushing yourself to the point where your muscle has to force itself to adapt and grow bigger and stronger, you're not gonna be seeing the results that you want. If you're not monitoring your diet, overseeing your macros, your calories in versus calories out, prioritizing the adequate amount of protein that you need for your specific goals, you're not gonna be seeing the results that you want. If you're not even prioritizing your recovery, getting enough rest in between workouts, getting good, adequate quality sleep, it's not just about the quantity, it's about the quality as well, you're not gonna be seeing the results that you want. So anything that I say today, yeah, it may help a few people, but if the other boxes aren't checked off, forget about it. You won't be seeing as much results as you could otherwise. With that being said, let's get into the first exercise. Okay. So, the first exercise we're gonna be going over is going to be exactly what you just saw me do. And that's gonna be the bent over row. Now, I like to point out, many people, for bodybuilding purposes, again, the whole point is to build the muscle, get as big as possible. Not necessarily focusing on strength, but just building the muscle up itself. They hate on the bent over row. Why? It's because if your goal is to build up the lats, what do they always say? Well, when you do bent over rows, the limiting factor is your lower back giving out, your legs don't have the strength to support you and hold you in that upright position where you're keeping your back straight. But you gotta keep this in mind. We're trying to build up our whole back, not just our lats. What's wrong with working on a little bit of spinal erectors? Again, your spinal erectors are the muscles that keep your back straight. Why wouldn't you want to train those as well? I see absolutely nothing wrong for bodybuilding purposes throwing in the bent over rows inside of your workout program from time to time. I mean, it's a good compound movement. You're working out the lats exactly the way they should be by pulling your elbows back. Just make sure that when you're doing them, you actually do good form. Go light. A lot of people, they mess up this exercise because it's really easy to get away with going heavier, feeling like you're lifting a lot. But sooner or later, instead of it looking like a bent over row the way it should be, it starts turning into like a very awkward type of like bent over shrug, kind of like a weird upright row combination. And that's not good. No, make sure you go light enough to the point where whenever you're bending at the hip, you actually keep your back straight. And the only thing that should be moving are your arms, okay? You shouldn't be lifting your torso along with it, just those arms. Squeeze those shoulder blades back. I'm telling you, it's a really good exercise for your lats. I see absolutely nothing wrong with doing this exercise to build up your back. You don't always have to do exercises where your chest is supported on the pad and the only thing that's moving is your arms. Go ahead and throw these in there. Focus on other muscle groups besides your lats. Focus on the spinal erectors. Just develop your back overall. Okay. So for the next exercise, so I want to say this. This is a little like a cheat code, a little hack for all of y'all that have a home gym. If you have a home gym power rack, but it happens to have a cable attachment on it, you already know you can do lat pull downs, but it doesn't have the pad to put your thighs under the way a normal lat pull down machine has at the gym. So eventually we start going heavy enough, you can't, because now it's you lifting your own body weight because there's nothing to hold you down. A good fix for that, grab one of the spotter arms, put it down low right here, and then grab one of the rollers from the leg attachment if you have one, or just any rod in general, and like put a pull note or something, place this underneath the spotter arm, and boom, it's exactly like we're at the gym. You put your legs or your thighs underneath it, and that holds you down. So now you can go heavier on lat pull downs and don't have to worry about pulling your own body weight up. Ingenuity, right?
Right.
All right. So second exercise we're going to be going over how to get a bigger back is going to be the lat pull downs. I mean, it's in the name, lat pull down is going to work out your lat. Your lat is the biggest muscle in your back. But here's the thing. I just want to point out, all pull downs are going to be working out your back. All right, that should be a given. If you're pulling weight down against resistance, it's going to be working on something back here. But what does matter is your elbow and your hand positioning. That's going to determine which particular muscle group has a little bit more emphasis compared to the other. So most people, when they actually are doing lat pull downs, they do it with the traditional handle like this, you know, the long one. And they start doing like this, which again, there's nothing wrong with this. If you want to go ahead and do that, by all means, go for it. If that's the only attachment you have, all right, there's nothing wrong with it, use it. But that one specifically, although it is called a lat pull down, it really emphasizes more of just the general upper back region. So like your teres minors, your rhomboids, things like that. Why? Because when you're using that, your elbows are flared out to your side. But if you want to emphasize a little bit more of your lats, and again, your lats are the big wing muscles on your back. That's what really gives you that V shape. We gotta go from out here to bringing our elbows out in front of us like this. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and use this attachment right here. So I'm pretty sure many of you have seen this, the MAG, the mag grips. You can even get a no-name brand like this. They all do the same thing. All you gotta do is keep your hands close to you. And it's not even your hands that have to be close. It's mainly your elbows. They just have to be in front of you. Because we can even go ahead and use an attachment like this one. It's still relatively wide, but now my elbows are not flared out like this. My elbows are out in front of me. Because we gotta remember, what does our lat allow us to do? Our lats allow us to bring our arms back behind us like this. Okay, so therefore we need to train in that range of motion, in this plane of movement, if you really want to target those lats. But again, any type of lat pull down that you do is going to be great for your back. Again, just overall your back. But if you want to target specific muscle groups, that's where all the different attachments come into play.
Come on, come on.
Oh God. So another thing, when it comes to doing your lat pull downs, and again, you don't completely have to do it, but it does help a little bit. If you can get away with getting the full range of motion by extending your arms all the way out and feeling that stretch on your lats as you go up, that would be ideal. Now, me personally, I can't get away with that because this is the only seat I have. This is the lowest thing I could sit on besides sitting on the floor. If I sit on a bench, I'm a little bit too high up, and when I extend my arms up, that's all it goes because the weights on the pulley system already hit the ground. So I'm pretty limited on that. But if you can find a way to lower yourself as much as you can and secure yourself so you don't actually lift yourself out when you're pulling the weight and extend those arms all the way out, oh my God, that would be even better. Another great thing you can do is if you were to go ahead and switch it up to single arm pull downs. So instead of both arms at the same time, one arm at a time, and instead of just looking directly at the cable and pulling it this way, whatever arm you're using, go ahead and face a little bit that way. So if I'm pulling with my left arm, single arm pull downs, turn a little bit to the left. So now my arm is not only going up and down, but it's actually crossing my body a little bit. This is definitely gonna be a bigger and deeper stretch on the lat, because now we're actually contracting it and stretching it along the direction of where the fibers of your lats actually go. Your lats kind of wrap around your torso a little bit, so let's go ahead and train them through that range of motion. So now I'm pulling diagonally, essentially, getting a good deep stretch, and then going back down, and then go ahead and switch, angle yourself off a little bit more on the other side. Same thing. That's just a quick tip. If you want to work single arm, you'll definitely feel a lot more. But at the end of the day, again, a pull down is a pull down. Push yourself hard, eat the right amount of protein, recover, you'll see results in your back. All right, so last and final exercise, I'll get bigger back. We're gonna be emphasizing the one arm dumbbell rows. Now, what I really like about this exercise is that it should be pretty obvious we all have one side that's stronger than the other. Most of the time, you're right-handed, your right arm is stronger. Left-handed, left arm is stronger. And what happens when you have a stronger arm? Most likely, you're gonna have a bigger and stronger lat, or a bigger, stronger side of your back. So this is a good way to address that issue. Again, when it comes to bodybuilding, building up the muscle, yes, we wanna get them as big as possible, but we also gotta make sure we're even in proportion. You don't want one side bigger than the other. No, we wanna be proportional, we wanna look aesthetically pleasing, so we gotta bring up those weaker sides. So whenever you're doing this exercise, whatever side you know is your weaker side, go ahead and start with that one. For me personally, my right arm is weaker. That's why I just did it with my right arm. Because let's just say I failed at 8 reps. Okay, if I failed at 8 reps with my weak arm, then it should be pretty guaranteed that I'm gonna go ahead and be able to do 8 with my strong arm. Compared to if you were to start with your stronger arm and you fail at 10, well, if you were barely able to get 10 with your strong side, what makes you think you're gonna get 10 with your weaker side? None. So go ahead, whatever side is lacking, go ahead and start with that one. Another good thing I like about the dumbbell rows and why I think it's a great exercise for your back is because when you're going down, you get that stretch. You can go ahead and drop your shoulder and then bring it up. A lot of people, all these influencers, they keep emphasizing keep your back straight, shoulders contracted back like this, and it's like very limited. If that was the case, I'd be doing like this. It's not a bench press where you have to keep your shoulders pinched back like this at all times. Look, if that was the case, this is all I would be able to move. But if I were to actually let my shoulder drop, get a good stretch, and then back up, that's a lot more range of motion I'll be having to go to. And the more range of motion you have, then possibly the more muscles that you'll be able to build, because now your muscle has to contract across a greater distance. So put that into perspective. Now for bodybuilding purposes, the whole goal is to build muscles. I see absolutely nothing wrong with using straps. A lot of people say, especially when you're doing your back workouts and all that, they say it's like, oh, well, maybe if you just work on your grip, you wouldn't have to rely on straps. Oh no, it's cheating because you're using straps. Bro, my whole goal is to bring my arms back, contract my shoulder blades back, really feel the pump, the squeeze, and the stretch in my lats, my rhomboids, all those muscles in your back. What is wrong with using straps? The reason why most people can't move on with an exercise and the reason why they can't get those last few extra reps is because the number one thing that gives out is their grip strength. Their hands start opening up. Their back, their lats have the strength to do a couple more reps with one arm rows, a couple more reps with the lat pull downs, a couple more reps with the bent over rows. But the reason why they can't is because their hands, their forearms gave out. Their hands start opening up. They can't hold on to the weight. So why not strap yourself into the weight? So now it takes your forearms, your grip strength, your hands out of the equation. And now the only thing that's really being worked out is going to be your back, which again was the main goal, which is the main priority of that workout. So I see absolutely nothing wrong with using straps. Now, should you only always rely on them? No, I believe you should also do some direct training for your forearms, do some direct training for your grip strength. I mean, put it this way, we train our biceps, we train our triceps. Why not train your forearms? Your forearms are a muscle group just like anything else. Why wouldn't we train them? It's part of your arm. You don't want to have a big, massive upper arm and then T-Rex sized forearms. No, go ahead and train it. But for the sake of doing your rows and your heavy back workouts, yeah, go ahead and use the straps up, but also dedicate some time outside of those back exercises to do some direct forearm work, some direct grip strength. So that way, even though you are using the straps, you can still go ahead and from time to time go without it and you still have some pretty decent grip strength. Me personally, I do a lot of farmer's carry. I do a lot of wrist curls, wrist extensions, a lot of hammer curls, a lot of static holds. I do a lot of grip strength specific exercises, forearm specific exercises, because that is what I prefer. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to get away with using straps during my back workout. No, I do both because I think they're both equally important. So just put that in perspective. There you have it, everyone. 3 exercises that are really going to help you build up that back. Again, certain exercises are good for just your overall back development, but depending on how you modify them, there's going to be ways where you can emphasize a little bit more of a particular muscle group. In most cases, it's going to be your lats. Your lats are those big V-shaped muscles. That's what's really going to give you that V taper. That's what's going to make you look wide. That's not the only muscle group in your back. You got other ones you also got to look after. So for me personally, my big 3, bent over rows, lat pull downs, 1-arm rows. You already saw, these are all generic exercises that many of you are already doing, but there's little things that you can do to modify them to make them even better. Again, there are good exercises, but there are better exercises. It's just a matter of how you do them and what your personal preferences are. At the end of the day, again, I just really want to emphasize the fact that despite giving you all these tips, you got to do what works best for you. You actually got to push yourself. You got to make sure you prioritize the protein. You got to make sure you're getting adequate rest. All these things need to be taken into account if you want to maximize the amount of growth you're going to see, and not just your back, but in any muscle group in general. Yeah, you could be focusing on these little tips and tricks, but these little things are not going to make as big of a difference if you're not even consistently working out the way you should, not eating the way that you should, not pushing yourself as hard as you should. You know, you got to look at the big picture here. So just want to point that out there. Hopefully this video was helpful. Comment down below any other video suggestions you'd like to see me do, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is, comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help y'all out. Be sure to subscribe not just to this channel, but my girlfriend's channel and our couple's channel so you don't miss on any new videos. Because remember, new videos every week across the board for all 3 channels. For this channel specifically, new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so don't miss out. And on Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on my accounts, my girlfriend's accounts, our couple's accounts. I put all the links down in the description below. With that being said, catch y'all next time.